In this lesson, I'm going to teach you about image augmentation, image editing, or optimization, whatever you want to call it, basically modifying an image. Now, obviously there's other programs outside of Dreamweaver that are specifically designed for image editing, such as Photoshop, CS3, or whatever you have. But if you don't have those programs, I mean, if you have the whole suite, you can go down here. Let's say we're selected on an image. And under Properties, here's our editing section. So we could edit in Photoshop. Again, there are these tools, though, that are built into Dreamweaver, and they're not going to be anywhere near as extensive as a program specifically designed to edit the photo. But it does give you some basic ones, like sharpening, brightness and contrast, resampling, cropping. This is the one we're going to get into, optimization. Now here's the thing. We have been mostly using the manual figures here when we've been making the size of our images. But obviously we can still stretch it out manually. As soon as it turns into an arrow, we could bring it out here. If I want to make it a little longer, like so, stretch it out, and then fine-tune it here if I wanted to. 65, let's say, whatever I want. Now, when you're resizing from here, from the screen, the main screen, you are not resampling or editing the actual image. All it is re-rendering it on the screen. But when you bring it into an external editor, or the ones built in here into Dreamweaver, and you start modifying, it will modify the actual image. So what do you think it might be a safe idea to do before you go into editing mode on a picture? Make another copy of it. So let's quickly do that. We'll go into our My Docs, My Website Work. That was the site we've created. And there is the sunset picture right here. So I'm just going to go copy, paste. So now it created a copy of sunset. Obviously can't name it the same thing, so it's just a copy. Now when we make any changes to sunset, we'll have another copy intact. Always wise to do this if you're going to be editing a photo, because you won't be able to undo it. You'll see in a moment. Let's bring it back up. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to choose this little clamp icon. We're going to hit Optimize. And there it is. So you're going to be given a few options here. File, it tells you how big it is. We could make adjustments right here. Options, here's an interesting one up here. You can change the format of the image. Right now it's a JPEG, but you could change it to a GIF or even to a PNG file. You can lower the quality of the file or make the quality higher. Now, if you're going to make changes, it may be a good idea to see side by side how those changes measure up to the original image that you were looking at. So, there's a very useful tool down here called 2 preview windows or 4. So notice, now that we have 2 and we start adjusting the quality of the JPEG, let's say we go low, you don't see any changes. Well, you're not going to see any until you click outside of this bar. Now that you've clicked outside, do you see any subtle difference between the top image and the bottom? The bottom image is a little more pixelated, a little less quality. But less quality means smaller file size. So down here you see the quality is 40, which we lowered it to, and this was the original quality, 79. Original file size. Now we've lowered the file size, which works well for faster loading, to 257K. Now we can also have 4 preview panes. So if we're making a lot of modifications, we can look at both. Now let's go back to our 2. Now let's say we wanted to do some cropping, okay? So let's use the crop tool. Obviously the magnifying tool works the same way as it does in the regular program. You can zoom in, hold the Alt down, turns it to a minus sign, we can zoom back out. Now what's nice about the crop tool here is we can lower the sides, make it smaller this way, and then again compare it to our top image and up there. Also, once we have the size of the window that we want, obviously you see the colors adjusting over there telling you which color you're pointed on. So if you want to know exactly what color that portion of the sky is, you click on that area and it'll show you. So once you do that, you can hold it and move it around that section to see which area you might like. Now remember though, once you click OK, it has permanently modified the image. There's no undoing. So for instance, if we wanted it to look like that and we hit OK, now, yeah, of course, we could re-render it here. But there's no way we can undo what we did. And that doesn't even look good anymore. So I'm going to take it out. Bring it back down to just one image right there. So there's a little bit more on image optimization and rendering. So do some experimenting there.